Hello, everybody. It's Natchez Renewal Radio Live, and we have a monumental announcement tonight. And I'm excited to be here with Robert Renewal and the lovely Jessica Hawkins. And I've had all my shots. I'm waiting for my and you have to. And Jessica, you've been working so hard to get everybody in, and I'm waiting. I've asked my veterinarian if he can get me a tag I can wear right here that says I got all my shots. Are we?
Yep, let's go.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Y'all, we got an exciting announcement. I had to bring help with me. We're so excited.
I know.
Hey, Sam, everybody, what's going on? We got the Natural Renewal Show with one and only Dan Gibson. He's in the house with the Natural Renewal Show. And he's here to make some great announcements. And he's got some special guests here with him. Good afternoon, evening, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, the Honorable Calvin Butler, the one and only?
I'm doing just great, man. It's a beautiful day outside. The weather's nice, no rain, the sun's shining, and the daylight even staying up a little bit longer, you know, so it's real good.
It's been beautiful. It truly is. We are having a beautiful spring. It's really making up for that ice storm event we had just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we are. We're doing that. Of course, I saw you brought sunshine in with you, community.
I brought sunshine with me. I tell you, sunshine on a cloudy day.
Yeah. She wanted to sing it for you.
That's a good My Girl song, you know. Oh, listen, you know how I love music. And Calvin, one thing that really unites our spirits, I believe, is our love for music. I'm speaking of Jessica Hawkins, who is someone I actually met first through the musical circles here in Natchez, and her wonderful husband, Kawan. And but Jessica has been helping us in community outreach at City Hall and just helping me in so many ways. And so I brought Jessica along. Jessica, we're going to talk to you in just a minute. And also, I brought a dear friend of mine, Robert Purnell. And Robert is someone who has done so many things. If you were to look at his resume, my goodness, what have you not done, Robert? He's done everything from lobby the legislature and the governor of California to cut a really great harvest of hay. And he's a farmer. He's an entrepreneur. He's a community leader. And I'm just proud to call him a friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That great introduction. I was looking around to see who you were talking about.
So, Calvin, we have a monumental announcement, and we wanted to make it here live on WTYJ. And this announcement goes to the heart of what we've been talking about in Natchez for quite a while now. If you'll remember when we were on the bluff on July 24th, getting a start to this wonderful experience we're enjoying, the Natchez Renewal, the new administration, the Board of Aldermen, the city, the county, everybody working together. We made the announcement that it's all about unity. And unity is the key word in community and opportunity. And without community, opportunity, unity, well, what have we got? It's important that we celebrate the unity in Natchez today by making the announcement that over the last few months, we've been having some meetings. We've been talking this back and forth. We've been looking at numbers. And we think it's time now to embark upon a very important project. And so, drum roll, monumental announcement. We're about to start the task of building a new monument in Natchez, a monument that we want to place prominently in Memorial Park, and it will be a monument to the U.S. colored troops. And it's a monument that will accurately tell the story that needs to be told, and that is how so many formerly enslaved men were transformed from slavery into the service of our country right here at Natchez, and went from being enslaved, some of them at forks of the road, to actually dismantling Forks of the Road as free men and using those materials to build Fort McPherson, some of which the fortifications still exist at our cemetery, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And we just felt that it's time. It's time that we get this done, and it's time that we ask the community to rally around it. And so in doing this, we reached out to Robert Purnell. Many of you know that Mr. Purnell led our effort under the great leadership of my predecessor, Mayor Darrell Grinnell. And by the way, we want to express our condolences to the Grinnell family. Mayor Grinnell's father passed away a couple weeks ago and has left quite a void in our community. But what better time for us to talk about the progress we've made in Natchez and the importance of telling the whole story. And so Mr. Purnell has graciously agreed, having chaired the program to erect that monument that now stands at the Municipal Auditorium. Proud to take a stand. Mr. Purnell, you've agreed to chair now a committee to bring this wonderful monument, just a vision now, into reality, the monument to the U.S. colored troops. And so, Robert, it's hard for me to call you Mr. Purnell. I mean, you call me Dan, you know, we're good friends. And Robert, you know, whenever anyone says Mr. Gibson, I start looking for my dad, and then I realize, well, my dad's up there now. But Robert, tell us about this and what your thoughts are. I know we had a meeting yesterday, and I know you and I have been talking about this for some time.
Correct.
So bring us up to date.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm excited about that, and I'll call you Dan if you call me Robert. I love that. I'm excited about it because here's another opportunity for the community to come together as one, to be able to develop something and put something out there that we all can have a part in. You know, that we're talking about the colored troops, and there's a story behind all of that as well. But for us as a community to be able to come together and not only tell a story, but erect something, a statue or whatever we're going to do, we're going to do it together. And because of that, I'm excited because it tells me that we're moving forward together. And I like that word together because, you know, I don't want to be alone. So the other thing, though, is that this is something that we want everybody to play a part in. Yes. I don't care who you are, what your ethnicity is. If you have an opinion that can add to the story, we want to hear it.
That's right.
So I'm excited. I know it's going to be a challenge, but life is a challenge. So let's get at it.
Life is a challenge. And Robert, I've been working over the last, it's actually been the last 2 or 3 months. We started discussing this there at City Hall and also with Mimi Miller and Carter Burns and the Historic Natchez Foundation. And we were really inspired by a lady, she was on our call yesterday, Deborah Fontaine. Deborah lives in California now, but her ancestors are all from Natchez, Adams, and even Jefferson County. She's writing a book called 9 from Natchez, and it is to chronicle the stories of 9 direct ancestors, including great-great-great-grandfathers, uncles, and others who served here in Natchez with the U.S. colored troops. She had 9 direct ancestors to serve. She has enlightened us greatly. And so we have had Zoom meetings, and we've been keeping this kind of quiet because we wanted to see where this could lead to. So we got her together with a sculptor who's been giving us some advice, and he's been kind of consulting with us behind the scenes. His name is Bob Willis, and he's done a lot of bronze and beautiful sculptures. And together they have talked about the importance of incorporating the story of Forks of the Road into the design of this monument. Jessica, we've been talking about this and the importance, and you said we're going to do this together. And we've been talking about the importance of getting people involved and included. And of course, we had this meeting yesterday with just a few of us. And we had these meetings. Alderwoman Valencia Hall was involved in this very early on, just a few months ago, when we first met with Bob Willis and with Deborah Fontaine. And you were there when we had that meeting. And so it's exciting to see. I think we had that meeting actually in January. I think it was in January, right after the first of the year. It's exciting to see where we come now to this point. Here we are in April. So Jessica, tomorrow's going to be a big step. We're having a meeting tomorrow of our task force, and we're going to bring this task force into the conversation and see who would like to be on this committee that will be working with Robert and the committee that will be working to actually get the design done and all the plans implemented. Jessica, you want to talk a little about the meeting we're going to have tomorrow?
Great. Thank you so much, Mayor Dan. Like Mr. Purnell said, we're so excited. Just the opportunity for us all, our community, to come together and really cause some positive change. I think we're ready as a city. I think our city is ready. Our communities are ready to move forward in the best possible ways. Now, tomorrow, we're having a meeting, your task force, the mayor's task force on ingenuity, diversity, and tourism, to come together. This is an opportunity and a safe place for a lot of our individuals and leaders in the city of Natchez to come together and discuss ideas and plans and strategies on how we can move the city forward, not just in one way, but in several ways, and how to do it as one force.
That's right.
We're no longer separated.
That's right.
We're one unit, and that's how we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done in love, truthfully, in love and unity, and that's two of the most powerful forces on this planet that can cause change. So we're excited to be a part of this project, to erect a monument on behalf of the U.S. colored troops, and it's a huge symbol for the African American community, but it's a huge symbol for all of us to show that there are so many who risked and sacrificed their lives, put their lives on the line for us all, not just for one race. They put their lives on the line for us all to have and enjoy the life we have today. So I'm really excited. So many individuals have already responded back in excitement about the meeting. So I'm really excited. And it's not just one race in this task force. All races are represented, and we welcome even more. So I'm pretty excited.
They're asking on Facebook about how can the community help with this project. So they're
That's great. That's great. Well, stay tuned. A lot of this will be shared on Facebook. And what we're going to be doing, and feel free to inbox me on Messenger or email me, mayor@natchez.ms.us, or reach out to Robert or Jessica and let us know if you'd like to be on the task force that will be working on this monumental project. As Robert, you said, we want this to be something that the whole community is involved in. And as you said, Jessica, it's really all of our story. This is our story. We can't control history. History is the past. It is what it is. But we have to embrace it as a story that applies to all of us. We all have been affected by it. And it's our history has helped make us all who we are individually. And I think it's what makes Natchez so special. I'm so grateful to be in a community that has such a diverse history and that has such diversity in our community. And I believe that's why we're getting the attention of so many people across the world. Because while other communities have been fighting each other, trying to find ways to just tear each other down and tear things down, we're actually finding ways where instead we can build each other up and build up. And this is going to be something that I can't wait to see us build. Robert, you experienced some of the enthusiasm yesterday when we were on the call with Deborah Fontaine, and I know you've over the past few months we've had Deborah on Facebook with us talking about the Emancipation Monument in D.C. and other things that she's been involved in. What did you feel like? I know we looked at you during that meeting and said, Robert, we can think of no better person to chair this. And you didn't even stall or hesitate. You said you'd do it. So what are your thoughts about being called back into service to build yet another great monument here in Natchez?
Well, Dan, I am honored, which I've said. And now my thought pattern is, okay, let's get the word out. Let's let people know what's happening. So we're going to do that and invite people to participate. I know you're going to have the meeting tomorrow, but we also want to put it out there in the community, because my thought right now is, and I just thought of this, Natchez, Adams County as one. Because we've been talking about we're one community, we're one people, we're all heading the same direction. And so that just popped up, Natchez, Adams County as one. But we're gonna let the community know, Jessica and I, when the meetings are, and then we're gonna be able to connect the dots. So, we're going back a long way. History, you mentioned faults of the road, and bring it all the way up to a monument, statue, or whatever we decide that's going to be able to tell the story, so you can trace that. And as Jessica said, that was a long time ago, but this is a different era. And this era, we're going to ensure that the story is told, but it's told in a way that we can be proud that we are where we are today. And so we bring it from one era to another era and document. We're not trying to hide anything, but it will be done. And I know with Jessica and you pushing me, it's going to be done well. But we want everybody to participate.
Robert, you and I are kind of the same generation here, and we've got this young lady here. And I have been I've been so inspired hanging around Jessica and hearing things from the perspective of her generation. There is a tremendous generation here. My dad, they called it the greatest generation. They went through the Depression, World War II. I think we're coming up on another greatest generation. Y'all, your generation, Jessica, y'all are so progressive in your thinking and getting beyond all the division. We talked about this today, you and me, just a few moments we had there at the mayor's office. Share a little of that. It's very inspiring.
Well, it's, with our generation, we, like you said, progressive. I think we're ready to honestly move forward. While we empathize with a lot that has gone on in our past, we don't ever forget what happened. Our ancestors who fought so hard for freedom and several types of freedoms. Yes. We don't ever forget that, and we don't just throw that to the side. We honor that and we pay tribute. But we also, a lot of our, in this generation's time, our mindset is how can we move forward? And we're looking for ways to move forward. And we're kind of putting some fire under our feet and helping to put fire under the feet of those who have gone on before us to help with the transitions, you name it, moving forward in several different types of ways. How can we bring each other together? A lot of our generation may not have some of the same struggles. While we empathize, we definitely want to help, generate more forgiveness in this day and age, because I know a lot of hurt has gone on in the past. We know that. And we don't want to, just deny that a lot of things have gone on, but we definitely want to move in the right direction as far as forgiveness is concerned, and as far as unity is concerned. And how can we move forward if we're still holding on to a lot of the pain that we've gone through, a lot of the struggles, a lot of the issues, and combating, you name it, a lot of the negativity that's gone on. How can we move forward? So that's where we are right now. We're excited. We honor those who have gone on before us. We honor and pay tribute always. But now we are ready to move forward in the best way possible. And we definitely want to work together as one unit to get more done, because that's how we're going to get a lot done in this city and this nation. So
that's right.
That's it.
And you know, we'll get more into this as I know the process goes, but you know, Robert, you just said something a minute ago, and that is just how far we've come. And when you look back, really, and you said we're going way back to forks of the road and all these things, but what's remarkable about Natchez is to look back at truly how far we've come and telling the story, as you just said, in a way that also really celebrates where we are now.
Where we are today.
Yeah, where we are today. And I think that is a great way to really give credit to all of those heroes who have laid their lives down. And, you know, when we think of all of those great heroes of the civil rights movement and what their vision was for America, we truly now are living out the dream. And, you know, the thing is, this country has never been perfect. I don't know that this country will ever be perfect, but every day we make a step in that direction. And it's all about love. One of the reasons we play that song every week on this program, and it's what's going on, is because there's some inspiring prophetic words in that song, sung so beautifully by Marvin Gaye, where it says, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. And it is also in the great words of, in the inspiring words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, hate is too great a burden to bear. He has chosen love. And he also has said, it is only through love that an enemy can be transformed into a friend. It's all about love. It's about forgiveness. But it's also important that we properly tell the story. We don't sugarcoat anything. And I want to tell you, people have asked me literally today, I get these questions about, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, the Confederate monument that's there at Memorial Park. And this is one of the most important reasons we need to do this, is because it's not right that that monument be there and there not be a monument that is more about Natchez, in my opinion, than that. The U.S. colored troops. There's far more history here there that needs to be told than has ever been told, and we're going to tell it. But also, we've got to put that monument in perspective. There are some things about it that really, there are some inaccuracies, I'm just going to say it, that we need to make sure we get corrected. The words, some of the words on that, you know, it goes back to the 1800s, and there were some people, I'm sure, who thought those were noble words at that time. And yet now we look back and we look really through today's perspective, and we realize, no, you know, this was about setting a people free. And if there's anything that needs to be celebrated, is the fact that it was through all of the strife of the 1800s and even the 1900s and even the civil rights movement and even recently, just the last few years, that it all boils down to this, and that is setting people free. You know, one of the great liberators in the Bible was the great prophet Moses. And you remember, he said, let my people go. Let my people go. And you know, that has been the cry through all of human history. And that was the cry here. And it was exciting to be able to share time with Deborah Fontaine when she shared with us all of these stories of how these men who had been in chains, some of them literally at forks of the road in chains, when they were free, immediately became free and were given the orders to dismantle this horrible slave market and to use those materials to build a fort. Those fortifications are still there. you know, a good friend of mine in this community, Daryl White, just a couple months ago took me on a ride around town, and we visited the cemetery. And we visited the south pavilion of the cemetery. And there, standing on a prominent embankment, which is the northern fortification of Fort McPherson, there, that fortification still there, is a pavilion owned by the city. So this isn't just about a monument in the park. This is about also an exhibit that we want to have at that pavilion that's going to really tell the story of the U.S. colored troops, their connection to Fort McPherson, their connection to Forks of the Road, and also their connection to this ongoing struggle for freedom that needs to be told and needs to be celebrated. And then yet another thing, we're working on Forks of the Road, getting that brought into the national park system, but then we look to the visitor center. We discussed this yesterday. Robert, we can do more, and we are going, so glad Kathleen Bond will be at our meeting tomorrow. We can do more to tell this story at our visitor center.
That's true. And the visitor center is, when I first came to Natchez, moved here, I went to the visitor center and just to look around and got stuck there for about 2 hours going through things. So that's a very important place for not just tourists, but also for people that live here, because it sets you, once you read something in there, then you go out and try and find that site. I mean, so it's a catalyst to the history of Natchez. So, you know, again, Mr. Mayor, I am excited and honored. So I'm not taking this lightly by any means. We're going to let the community know what we're doing. Jessica and I will publicize that. But also, it's just great to be able to connect the dots. Because when you start talking about love and hate, you know, things, we have to move on. And if you move on in a positive way, you bring people with you. And this is going to be something that we want the entire Adams County, Natchez community to get involved with. If you have ideas, or, you know, it's going to take a time to put it all together.
Yes.
But we want to hear from everybody. So I'm saying, you'll hear from us. And when you do, please respond.
That's great. It is. And I know we're about out of time. Calvin, can you give me just a few more minutes?
Jessica will sing.
Well, I'm not going to sing, but I would like to say something.
Play the piano.
Listen.
Jessica will sing.
You guys could have, not today, but we will schedule the time.
I don't know.
Well, let me say this.
I think it'd be nice to hear a song myself.
In regards to our monument, you were speaking about Deborah Fontaine, and she's been so instrumental in this entire project. And one of the most amazing things about this is that citizens of Natchez and surrounding areas will have the opportunity to discover if you are a direct descendant of one of the U.S. colored troops. And I thought that was so amazing for individuals to have the opportunity to find out. And once discovered, you have even more to be proud of. And there's a Facebook page that she shared with us. We'll share with you all, and the process on finding out if you are a direct descendant. So that is so exciting in this project.
And in fact, we have the names of all these U.S. colored troops. And Mr. Purnell, I think you've got some experience putting names on a monument, don't you?
I do. And if I could take 2 seconds here just to bring you up to date, you know, we're revisiting Proud to Take a Stand Monument, and we're going to be coming to the board of Altima, you and the board, with some upgrades that we're doing, and that's exciting as well, because I had a meeting today with Lance, and he has the time looper. You've heard of the time looper, where you can look through there and it puts you right there where the action is.
Amazing.
And so we're trying to, in a couple of weeks, I think we'll have that perfected.
Wow.
And so we got additional names that we're putting on, and so that's coming along very well. And I hope to have it to you by
That's great.
sometime
That's
next month.
Great.
Once we finalize everything. But again, the positive thing here is, we started that monument like 3 years ago or something. I got a lot more gray hair now. But it continues, and we continue to improve or make it better, and we'll do the same thing with the color troops.
We will.
It always brings you back and make you appreciative to where we are today.
Yes, it really does, and appreciative of the work going in today to do all of this. You, the volunteers, Jessica, and also I want to make sure we get this in. We are working on a cataloging of historic sites that are important to African American history, the civil rights history of Natchez, so that we can get these properly signed around town, documented, because we have a lot of people from all over the country and even the world who are so fascinated. And it's a fascinating story how we went from a time of slavery pre-1865 to now a time of love and brotherhood and getting together in one community. It's a remarkable story. People are interested. And then the other thing that I'm excited is we are talking about interpretive signage that will explain more about our history. That Confederate monument that stands there right now, whether we like it or not, is a part of our history. And it needs interpretation. If people need to understand what was that chapter of life here in Natchez, what is the history there? And then the U.S. colored troops, what is that history? And then as we go around our city, Forks of the Road, what is that history? The pavilion at the cemetery, what is that history? And I'm excited to be in a community that's more interested in building up than tearing down. And doing this together for the proper telling of our story. It's so important that we properly tell our story, that we interpret that story correctly, and it helps with that education, because it also goes back. When you try to erase history, then what you actually do is you can erase the lessons of history. And those who do not appreciate their history, and those, as the famous quote goes, those who do not understand their history are destined to repeat it. And it's so important that in Natchez that we properly appreciate our history, and give credit to all of those who have sacrificed so that Natchez can be the Natchez it is today. Well, I know we're out of time.
No, you want to talk? I'm getting some information that
How about a song from Jessica?
Oh my God.
Jessica, we're putting you on the spot.
Well, I'm going to play the Marvin Gaye intro. I thought I'd get lucky, and everybody could hear her talent. And
Oh.
Tell you what.
do her thing today.
Jessica, I knew you got a song.
All right.
A song about all of the good stuff, the good energy.
Yeah, I'm going to this. Yeah.
Well, listen to me up and listen to our Bill and Gibson, and of course,
We're doing a song.
Yes, Mr. Robert Renewal and the liaison person is Jessica Hawkins. And they gave some great information today about some great things getting ready to take place. So, whenever you want to know what's going on, tune in to WTYJ every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, except for the 4th Tuesday. We're having this morning meeting. But tune in right here to 97.7 FM WTYJ. 1240 and NatchezRadio.com. What's going on?
Yes.
What a moment you brought me to, such a freedom I have found in you. You're a healer, you make all things new. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm not going back, I'm moving ahead. I'm here to declare to you, my past is over in you. All things are made new. surrendered my life to Christ. Moving forward.
Yeah.
You got a doctor out there. You got a doctor sitting in the place. You supposed to have a woman lady named Cheryl one day.
Yeah.
Cheryl came to visit you down here, said you was at the office. So she here to say she had a appointment with you.
Cheryl.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cheryl, yeah,
Let's talk
Cheryl.
right now. We're gonna say bye. Thank y'all. God bless Natchez.